So today we have someone who doesn't need a two paragraph of introduction. I'm sure by just seeing him, you would know who he is, right? But just in case you don't, we have invited the king of webinars, someone who's made over $30 million in just a few years solely by doing webinars. He went from being a pizza guy to a multi eight-figure coach, probably one of the youngest ClickFunnels to Comma Club winner. He's kind of semi-retired now and roast businesses for a living. And I was roasted by him, and I can assure you it was one of the best sessions I've ever had. Not just webinars, he has done multiple challenges for his coaching program. And the last one he did, he made over $1.2 million from just a 5-day challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome the one and only Mr. Dan Henry.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, of
honored to
course,
have
man.
you. I just wanted to ask you this before we start. Can you just share a little bit about your story? Because I have heard about your story a lot of times. I have been on your webinars. I have both of your books, and I have gone through like most of your stuff that you have at the moment. Your $10,000 program, $29 recent offer that you made. I have all of them. So I have heard about your story, but for those who haven't gotten it, like, can you share a bit about um, where you came from and how did you become who you are today?
I grew up in Florida, and I was a pizza boy for 7 years. Worked for Pizza Hut, and I decided one day that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. That's how I was going to get out of my financial struggles. And so, I did side hustle after side hustle. I had an Italian ice cart. I did airbrush tattoos. I worked at a carnival selling cotton candy and kettle corn. I bought the little kit that you get, and I bought the pop-up tent and all that. And eventually I saved up enough money from my side hustles to buy a real business, which was a bar and restaurant. This was in a terrible location. It was, most people told me it wouldn't work. And I ended up learning online marketing and how to acquire customers online and get customers with the internet, social media and all that. And I ended up making the bar the #1 spot in town. I sold it for a multiple six-figure profit 14 months later. And I thought I had accomplished the American dream. I thought that I had done it, especially at such a young age. It was in my early 20s. And then America tried to take that dream away from me. The IRS showed up at my door, handed me a bill for $250,000 and said I owed $250K to the IRS. And their position was that I needed to provide receipts for every bottle of liquor, every employee, every bill I paid to the electric company, everything, which is a massive, massive job. And unfortunately, the money I made from the bar, from selling it, I had made a bad investment. I was young in business and I had lost that money. So I was just trying to make ends meet at that point and help us eat. There was a point where we had to stand out on the side of the road with shirts that said $1 water bottle, $1 water, to try to sell water bottles to pay the electric, which did not work. And it was just a really rough time. And I was honestly, I'll be honest with you, I was pissed off. I was pissed off that America sold me this idea that it was the land of opportunity, but as soon as I seized that opportunity, they wanted to take it away. Think about this for a second. You own a restaurant, right? You have to buy food. You have to pay for electric. You have to pay for rent. You have to have employees. You have to buy liquor. You can't own it without it. They were saying, nope, absolutely, we're disallowing those expenses. It's crazy, right? Well, my accountant, who had all that information, died during this process, and it was just a nightmare. And so I realized that I had to get so good at what I do that no one could take it from me, because I'm going to tell you this right now. If you accomplish the American dream, America will try to take it from you unless you just do it so well that they can't. It's true. And so I dived deep into learning everything I could about business, making better business decisions, client acquisition, all that. And I eventually was able to dig my way out of the hole. And that year we did 2.9 million. And since then we've just, we've grown, and we've just done really well, and And I'll tell you this, for years I sold my consulting and my, my courses and stuff for
Yeah,
like a lot of
yeah,
money,
yeah, of
10,000,
course.
20,000,
Hmm.
50,000. And I ended up making my bag. I ended up investing well in real estate. I moved to Costa Rica so I don't have to deal with a lot of the American BS anymore. And so now I've just went into chill mode. I have a membership site. I put all my stuff that was really expensive
Yes.
in that membership site. That membership site is only like $97 a month. And
Mhm.
I literally just do that. Like I don't need to charge people a lot of money anymore. I'm good. I
Mm,
honestly, I just want to help people. I want to help people seize the opportunity that they're sold, but they're not really given. And I
mhm.
want to help people be so good at business that nobody can take it away from you. That's what I like to do.
Wow, wow, Dan. I mean, you've come a very, very long way. And I have seen most of your videos on YouTube, and you really talk about your journey and you share behind the scenes of what's happening, how you're feeling through while you're going through this journey. And when you said that you made 2.9 million that year,
Mhm.
when the IRS came to you, so how did you do that? Like, was it from webinars? You started
Yeah,
going all in on.
I've learned actually how to condense um sales videos into like 5 minutes since then. But yes, then it was webinars.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest with you. You know why I made 2.9 million my first year in business? Because I just wanted to flip the IRS a big fat bird.
Mm,
And then what I did to just dig in the knife and twist it in their fat stomachs was I hired a top-notch tax attorney because now I had the money to do so. And
mhm.
I got that $250,000 tax bill reduced down to like 50 grand. And I flipped them the bird on my way out. I don't
Wow.
like the IRS. I don't like the United States government. I don't like the United States school system because it's all set up to make you a part of the machine. You don't go to school to make yourself successful. You go to school to work for someone else to make them successful. Okay. The government,
Absolutely. Wow.
all of
Mhm.
the, like, just look at how it works. It is BS. It is propaganda. There is zero difference to
Mhm.
me between North Korean propaganda and American propaganda. If you
Mhm.
This is a little fact that people don't know about the United States. If you're a US citizen, you get one of the highest tax rates in the world. And if you say, you know what, I'm cool, I want to renounce my US citizenship, move somewhere else, I won't be a burden on you guys anymore, I want to go. They
Mhm.
calculate your net worth, your homes, your cars, your businesses. They calculate how much you're worth, and they ask you to pay half of that net worth in cash. So basically, what they're saying is
Wow.
you can't leave. And if you do leave, we're going to punish you so much. And they keep harassing you after. When you go to renounce your citizenship, they put you in a little room and they interrogate you. Why do you want to leave? America's so great. Why do you want to leave? And I mean, I know a couple friends that went through it. It was very intense. So like when people say, oh, it's the land of opportunity, it's the land of freedom. What kind of freedom is making you stay here, making you like,
Mhm.
or we're going to like take half of your net worth? That's not freedom. That's a prison. It's just the illusion of freedom, right? It's the
Mhm.
illusion of freedom. And look, the United States has done a lot for me, but we're in a different time now. We're in a time where I don't care where you live or where you're from. If you have a laptop, you can make a lot of money. And
Absolutely.
I like the America that I was sold. I like the America that I wish it could be, but I don't like the America that taxes me to death, tells my kid that if he has a bad day, he's got to chop his pecker off and become a girl. I don't like that America. And I don't think our founding fathers would either. The entire reason we founded the United States of America was to get away from the type of things that they're doing again. So like when
Mhm.
somebody says, "Oh, you're anti-American, you're not a patriot." No, I think I am more of a patriot. I think I am more American because the very essence of the United States is to get away from unjust taxation and these unjust things, which are now a part of American culture. So if anything, I think I'm more American. I'm more of a patriot than those who would call me the opposite, because I'm aligning myself with the original goal of the United States, not this twisted, blue-haired, warmongering version of it today.
I've actually seen you like fight for it. You know, like you always talk about this in your on your podcast. I have seen your um, like on the road videos when you were having some healthy conversation with people, and they wouldn't have the full conversation with you because they couldn't defend themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, you really
Most
care for
people
it.
who are wrong because they have not looked into their opinion far enough. And so as soon as you challenge their opinion, they shut down because they do not have the information to back it up. Because if they did have the information to back it up, they would realize they were wrong.
Wow, that's super powerful. So I mean, like, since I got connected with you, and it's not been just 1 year, Dan. It's been like 3 to 4 years I've been following you, and I have heard a lot. Like you talk a lot about having conversations, right? And that's what you do. I mean, like, have conversations with as many people as you can, and I'm sure you have had a lot of conversations with the prospects. So can you elaborate on that? Like, why is it important to have conversations in a business? And like, if anything, people would want to just go ahead and have a source of passive income for themselves. So how having conversations has gotten you to where you are?
Are you asking why?
Like, why do you think it is important to have conversations more and
Well,
more with
you
your
mentioned
prospects?
you mentioned passive income. Are you saying that people who own a business and want passive income, they don't want to talk to their customers?
I mean, like, when most of the people begin, right, they do not want to talk to the prospect. So we do challenges,
If
right?
you don't want to talk to your prospect, then get a fucking job at McDonald's. What's wrong with you? Like this is the problem with people. Okay, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to lose weight, but I want to eat cake. No, sorry, fat ass. You can't lose weight and eat cake, dickhead. You can't. Okay, the end. Right? Oh, I want to own a business, but I want it to be passive. Sorry, bro. That's active. Go make a bunch of money, invest it in real estate. That's passive. Sorry. Or I want to grow my business, but I don't want to talk to my customers. Sorry, asshole. That's not how it works. Like, these are just, this isn't a matter of, is it important? This is a matter of, you need deep psychological therapy for years to uncover the trauma that you experienced as a child that led you to believe that you can own a business without talking to your customers. Okay. Like, that's just psychosis on another level, right? Even if you had a product that allowed you to do so, like some sort of software. I'll give you an example. Just today, I'm trying to log into my QuickBooks account. There's something messed up. Their customer service is horrible. They don't talk to you unless you go through all these hoops, and I hate it. And I'm sure many people know what I'm listening to this, know what I'm talking about. They hate it when a company doesn't talk to you in some way, right? And so as soon as another company comes along and provides an alternative, they're going to jump ship. And so if you have a business and you're not willing to talk to your customers, you're a dickhead. Why wouldn't you want to talk to your customers? Maybe you don't personally talk to your customers and you hire someone, but in the beginning, dude, talk to your customers. It's so easy. If someone messages me right now and says, Dan, do you have any tips on whatever? When I was first starting, if I just took the time to have a conversation with them, that turned into a sale half the time. Okay. But people today, they want to skip to the end. Like, do I talk to customers now? Not as sometimes I do, but I don't answer support tickets or things like that. I have a team for that. I built up to that point. But in the beginning, no, I talk to customers. People want to skip to the end before they get to the beginning. And the truth is, you haven't earned it yet. You haven't earned the right to not talk to your customers. You haven't earned their trust to pass them off to your employees. You haven't earned anything yet. You're a brand new entrepreneur and you're wanting to skip to the end. And that's just not realistic. If you want a beautiful business, if you want a beautiful house, if you want a beautiful life, you have to become the person that deserves it. And the person that deserves it talks to their customers for the love of God. Okay? They just do. When I first started my bar and restaurant, I worked 1 week washing dishes, 1 week bouncing, 1 week cooking, 1 week bartending. Why? So I knew whenever I hired somebody and I asked them to do a job, Number one, I knew how the job was done. And number two, I knew
Mm,
what it felt like to do the job. So I could better lead that person in that job. Most
mm,
restaurant owners would never think to do that. And in 14 months, that restaurant and bar it started the worst establishment in the town. At the end, it was the hottest one in the town. And I sold it was packed. And I sold it for a big fat check. And the point is because I was willing to get in there and do the things that nobody else was willing to do, figure it out. So really, this is not a business issue. This is you have childhood trauma issue, and you need to ask yourself why you don't want to talk to your customers, you dickhead. That's the issue.
yeah, no, absolutely, man. Like I absolutely agree with you. Like, um, you have done a lot of calls, right? Like have a one-on-one conversation at the beginning of your journey, and apart from GetClients.com, you started CloseSeats.com as well at some point where you were like you went all in on calls. So having managed sales teams, what have you found? Like, what is the difficulty, or maybe a challenge while trying to scale from $1 million to $10 million through sales teams?
Well, I'll be honest with you, but how honest do you want me to be?
Bro, absolutely honest. I mean,
Okay.
you
Yeah,
are the most
I had
straightforward.
a company where we managed sales teams. Okay. And this is what would happen. Entrepreneur would come on, and it's usually these friggin' coaches, right? Like
Mhm.
it's always the damn coaches. They make a little bit of money. They think they know something. Sorry, you don't know dick. You don't know dick. You don't even know dick at a million. You just don't know. Okay. You're an infant. All right. So we build them a sales team, and it would do well, and then they would go in and try to coach their sales team, change the offer, not make up their mind, change their branding, all this crazy stuff. And the sales team's like, yeah, and then the results would go down, and then they'd be like, oh my god, the sales team's not performing. And we're like, well, yeah, you poured kerosene on your business and lit it on fire. What do you want the sales team to do? And then we'd fix it, and it would be this perpetual never ending cycle. And eventually I literally fired everyone, and I was like, screw all you all, again, you need therapy, you don't need business advice. And I sold that company. My partner loved it. I said, you do it. Sold the company to my partner, who is amazing. He has more patience than I do for that type of thing. And I'm old, man. I don't have time for this crap anymore. Don't sit here and tell me that you have one offer and then 5 minutes later you're like, well, I have this other offer and I have a clothing line. And I it's like, shut up. I don't want to hear that. You're just figure it out and then come talk to me. So what I like to do now, man, is honestly, I like to help the person who's a little newer, because the person who's a little newer, I'm just going to be honest with you, they're easier to work with. If you have not made your first 10 grand in your business, if you're stuck at 10 or 15 or 20 grand a month, or maybe you haven't made anything yet, I love working with those people in our membership site because they listen. Like they're like, oh yeah, I don't know shit, so I'm going to listen to Dan. And we get them better results. I just had a guy with brand new offer. He paid me for my one-on-one. We went out, did 2 days together. I helped him create an offer and write a speech. He went out, he did the speech, he made 200 grand on the very first go. Like he
Wow.
listened, right? But when we were dealing with these companies that already had made a couple million, dude, they were prima donnas, total prima donnas. Like literally, I can't even tell you how much I hated it. Okay. And I'm just being honest, and if think about this, have you ever had a client that you hated, that just drove you nuts, that just made life hard on you? I had like 20 of those. Okay. And so I just didn't want to do it anymore. And so I went back to helping the newer guy. I like helping the newer guy. I don't like helping the guy that's already making millions, because you add another million to their business, they're like, whatever. You add $1 million to somebody's business who hasn't made anything, they love you forever. They come up
Yeah,
to you
absolutely.
5 years later and hug you. And when they see you at a conference, that's what I like. That's what I like. I don't like helping the guy that thinks he knows it. I like helping the guy that knows he doesn't. Stephen Hawking said that the greatest threat to knowledge is not ignorance. It is the assumption of knowledge, meaning
Wow.
you think you know it, but you don't, asshole. Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I understand the pain that you went through. I mean, like I worked on one of those and I could feel it. I could feel it literally. Um, So I mean, like, coming down to challenges, Dan, you have done a few challenges for both getclients.com as well as close reads, right?
Mhm.
So what has your experience been with challenges? How different did you find it, or how convenient, or maybe you found it different from the other ways that you did to make money?
Oh, it's the fastest way to make a lot of money. I mean, that's you get a bunch of people in a room, you say the right things, they buy. Like it's, I mean, that return on time, that's the highest one. I mean, look, people act. You're in the internet marketing industry, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yes.
people in the internet marketing industry act like that's like it's this new thing. Like, oh my god, challenges. It's like, bro, Tony Robbins did that in the '80s, and he built
Oof,
a
yeah,
billion-dollar
yeah.
company, right? Like these people have been doing. He gets people. What do you think timeshare people do? You ever been to a timeshare? That's a friggin' virtual event. It's the same thing. You get people in a room, you
Same
say the
thing,
right
yes.
shit, you tell the right stories, they buy.
Mhm.
Okay, right? But the key is you have to know how to be a platform closer. You have to know
Mhm.
what to say, and that for me has been a lifelong like. And here's the thing: even if you're kind of crappy at it, you still end up making a lot of money. I've seen people who were terrible, absolutely terrible, have 100 people on a virtual event and still pull out like 100 grand.
Mm,
Whereas I would have made more like a million. But think
yes,
about it: even if you're terrible, even if you suck, you still end up making way more than virtually anything else you do. So it's just but see, I don't do them that much anymore because I'm at the point now where I don't
yeah,
care.
of
We make
course, of
we
course.
make so much money from our membership site and our passive income and our equity deals that I don't want to talk. I actually like going and talking at other people's events and doing the pitch because I only have to talk for 45 minutes. I outsell the event owner because they don't know how to do it. And I get a cut. I walk away. I don't have to do anything. I actually like doing that. So if anybody needs a closer, stage closer, and you can get a lot of people in, let me know. I'm actually doing one. I'm doing one for Russell. I'm doing,
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah. I did one for him. I did
offer
the event.
mastery as well. You went on offer mastery as well.
Oh,
Why did
that
you?
wasn't a close. That was for Myron. That was just that
Oh,
I was
fine.
just speaking. No, but I did it for Russell. We did a challenge called the Write Like Dan Challenge, Dan Kennedy,
Uh-huh.
and I
Uh-huh.
hosted it. And he didn't think I could sell Dan Kennedy's latest book for $2,000. I'm like, oh yeah, I can. And he's like, okay, let's see. So 3 hours, I had 1 hour a day for 3 hours. I sold this book for $2,000, did 120 sales.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow, so powerful.
yeah,
I mean, like, and that happened in just a 3-day challenge and not a 5-day one.
yeah. Because
It's
you
very
got to know,
powerful.
bro. Like, think about this. How do presidents get elected? How do dictators almost take over the world? With words. Hitler
Words.
was like 5 foot tall, little fat pudgy dude, okay, with a stupid mustache. And he was able to use his words to like convince an entire country to try to get rid of another country. I mean, it was insane, right? Look at Gandhi. You know how many friggin' Indian monks or wherever he's from sit around all day praying to Buddha or whatever it is? Why was he famous? Why was you know how many nuns there are in the world? Why was Mother Teresa famous?
Mm,
Why did Barack Obama get elected? Why does Donald Trump get elected? Like most people don't know this, but Hillary Clinton's opening speech for her campaign announcement when she ran against Trump was at a FK level, meaning a reading level of I think 7 or 8. Trump's was at 2, a second grade reading level. Trump realizes that most people in the United States are kind of stupid. So he dumbed his
he made
language
it very
down, and
simple.
that's how he got elected. Like, look at
Ah,
all of his speeches; they all read at a second, maximum third grade reading level. And look, I would never vote for Hillary. So don't. I'm not bashing Trump, please. But the point here is that words are powerful. Every major war started and ended because of words. Every relationship started and ended because of words, and every business was built or unbuilt by the words they chose to say to their employees, their customers, the world. And when you use words to grow a business, that's called copy. And copy
mm,
is king, and kings rule the world. Period.
absolutely. Wow, super powerful. I mean, like the thing that you mentioned, like having conversations and actually putting it out in front of hundreds and thousands of people is actually revolutionary in some at some point as well. So I
But
mean,
what are you doing when you have a room of 100 people? You're having a conversation. You're having a
absolutely.
conversation, and that's the best state. The best best speakers do not talk at their audience; they talk with their audience.
With their
They have a
audience.
conversation with their audience, right? Like I hate it when these guys they get up there and they do a speech and they get angry when somebody says something in the audience. It's like, no, dude, that's what you want, right? I mean, when I get up on stage, I'll say something, and and I'll interact with the audience constantly. It's like I'll get that. I'll be like, what's this word? I'll be asking them questions, having them call it out. If somebody says something, I'll play off of it. Like most speakers don't do that. They're just like, there's a stick for swell up my ass. Like, no, it's like, dude, like play with your audience. Because here's the thing. If you can't handle somebody saying something and interrupting you in the middle of your speech, you're not a speaker. You just memorized words and got on a stage. You're not a speaker. Like if you're a professional, you can handle all that. That's all part of the game. Okay. All part of the game. So that's, most people don't realize how good you have to be to achieve great things. And I believe in one core value. That is, if you want something, you have to become the person that deserves it. If you don't have it, most of the time, unless somebody like grabbed you and threw you in an Afghani cave and pointed a gun at you, unless in that extreme and very low percentage situation, other than that, if you don't have what you want in life, it's because you don't deserve it, period. So instead of figuring out how to get it, figure out how to deserve it.
How to deserve it. That's super powerful. Then I had this one assumption when I went to your last challenge, and I don't know if that's true, and I don't want to just put it out there just like that. But in the last challenge you did, it was for close deals, right? Its name was Close More Deals Challenge, and rather than just selling your program, you booked in calls, right? And rather than having people to just book in call just like that, you ask them to pay for it, like $1,000 to book in a call,
Yeah.
right? And on the call, did you offer them like some kind of discount or some kind of offer you made, like rather than 60,000 it's going to be 50,000, something of that sort, or you just sold it at a 60K to the through the call?
So you're talking about a challenge I did where we charged $60,000 for the offer. So
Yeah.
they would book a call, and we off if they paid in. So it was 60 grand, right?
Yes.
Which was $5 grand a month. That was the thing.
Yes.
Or if you paid for the whole year in advance, you'd get a $10,000 discount, and you could pay for the year for 50. So we had a lot of people take the 50. We had a lot of people take the pay plan 5, and then like we just fixed their stuff, and a few weeks later they made the rest of the money and they just paid it off. But for anyone listening, we don't do that anymore. That offer doesn't exist anymore. I don't want to do anything. I'm lazy. I'm from Florida. Just join my membership site. It's cheap. It's less than what you pay for your cell phone bill. Leave me alone. Okay. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm chilling, man. I'm spending time with the family.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love to see that how you're putting so much value inside of Get Clients University. So anyone who is listening, go ahead and sign up for Get Clients University. It's just $97 per month, and I'm a part of it as well. And at the same time, the value that I'm getting from that, I haven't gotten for programs that I have paid $25,000 for. So go ahead and get in.
Can I be
Thank you
honest
so
with you?
Yeah, sure, of course.
I think I'm the best. And I say that respectfully because I believe I obsess not only over how to get so good at online marketing that you just can't help but get clients, but I obsess over how to make other people understand it. Like if my members don't understand something, I geek out on how to make them understand. And I just think most people don't do that. They just throw something together and they're just in it for the money, and they don't try to get people results. They just try to be good enough to justify the price. And honestly, I don't like where the industry has gone. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. Back in the day, Dan Kennedy, Bill Glazer, these were real marketers. These were people who knew stuff. Today, all these gurus, they don't know shit. It's basically, here's internet marketing today. Let's take Dan Kennedy and water it down and explain it poorly. Here's a course. That's all it is. Okay. Because most of these principles that you learn, they were all made by guys with extremely wrinkled sets of nuts. Okay. Old dudes. All right. And they did it better than you ever will. And the truth is that most people don't explain this stuff well. It's all out there. But if you read Dan Kennedy stuff, some of it's like very complex and it's hard to understand. I love it because I love that type of stuff. So what I do is I take all the things I've learned and I make them simple for people. I make them easy to do for people. I can take I can take a complex Dan Kennedy or Bill Glazer concept on marketing that would normally take you weeks to understand. And I can condense, I can say, you know what? We don't need this. We don't need that. They'll get a quick win if they do this. Let me explain this so they can understand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I craft it where the average person can actually use these high level marketing tactics. And it seems easy, but they don't really realize they're doing it. They're doing something high level. And that's kind of my approach. And so I just think I'm better at explaining these things than most people. And that's why it's effortless for me to create content and charge $97 a month when other people are charging $25K. Plus, I like sticking it to people. I like being like, oh, like I'm making as much. Because dude, there's people who they charge $25K. They don't make as much money as we do. We charge $97 for the same thing, but we have so many members that we make more than them. And to me, that's better than charging high ticket, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, I have seen it grow. Dan, I mean, like GCU, when I joined it, it was at like 500 or 600 members. Right now it's like 1250 or something, right?
It's like 12, it's like
doubled.
1220 or something like that. And it's growing. Yeah.
I mean, it went all crazy. So I'm sure if anybody watching this, you have to join GCU. You have to. You don't
Getclients.com.
have option.
That's
Getclients.com. I'll put the link in the description. And Dan, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to ask you one last thing, and I think for anyone who's just starting out, right at the point where they have they have something that is of value, and if they give it to people, they could actually solve problem, not just the coach stuff, right? So what would you suggest to someone who's just starting out and wants to give their value to their audience? Would challenge be something that will bring them results and bring them more clients, and at the same time give value to their audience?
I mean, if you know your subject well and you let's see, how do I put this? Yeah, I mean, yes, a challenge would work well. However, I believe that in order to make a challenge work, you have to know your subject, you have to know your audience, you have to know these things. And a lot of times, this is a little trick. I test content, right? So like, let's say I say something that I think resonates with my audience, but for some reason they don't care. Okay, fine. Then I say something else. This could be on a call. Like I watch one amazing thing you can do is you can watch people's faces, right? So if I'm at an event, if I'm on stage, if I'm on a webinar, I try to see faces, because if I say something and I see people go like this, then I'm like, ooh, there it is. And I just sort of get rid of all the little things that don't work, and I keep the things that are more effective, and I assemble them until I have this little collection of really good sound bites. And then I build an entire speech out of those so that it's just one friggin' hammer after the other.
Yeah, I mean, and from the way that you say it, I mean, like through a challenge, we could actually have conversations with people from scratch, learning about our audience inside out. And once we get those, and we can see their
talk
faces,
to people, get on the phone, sell some shit, figure out your customer, and then you can sell it to a bunch of people, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Dan, for being here. It's an honor to host you today.
Yeah, brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We're going to see you soon. Okay.
All right, man.
All right, with that, we come to an end of this podcast. I hope this was super useful to you because it was amazing for me. I learned so much about challenges, and at the same time, I learned what it really takes to get results inside of challenges. You see, one of the things that Dan mentioned was how making things simple to understand actually brings in a lot of value for your clients, because making people understand difficult technical stuff in technical language will only give you like shocked faces who do not understand anything. But if you make it simple, it really works. So put down your golden nuggets in the comments. I love reading them. Last time Divyasi put down really good valuable comments, and at the same time I've put together a small video that is going to show you how you can use challenges to take your business to either 5 figures per month or 6 figures. It's absolutely for free, so go ahead and get it. I have the link in the description. And at the same time, go ahead and join Get Clients University. It's one of the best investments I have ever made. It's just $97 per month, and I'm sure you're gonna love and get more value from it. It's amazing. Okay, so with that, we come to an end of this podcast, and looking forward to see you in the next one. Till then, keep creating for a change.